Yo, y'all hang tight. Got a special fucking guest in the building today. Let's go. Cue the intro.
Rappy on the beat.
Man, first off, tell the
I'm
world.
over here bobbing to the intro because it's dope.
Hey, I made that beat. I
Yeah,
made that.
that's dope,
That's
man.
me. That's me on the track right there. Man, first off, let me go ahead and let you introduce yourself real quick. Tell the world who you are, where you're from, what you represent. Let them know.
Hey, I'm Mike Crenshaw. I'm an MC, cultural activist, educator, media producer. But today I'm on the show as a hip hop artist. And I'm living in Portland, Oregon. I've been out here like 30 years. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and was raised between there, Minneapolis. I moved up to Minneapolis in my teenage years. And then in my 20s, I moved to Portland. I started doing hip hop about as a career choice. I mean, I've been rapping since I was a shorty, but as a career choice, I've been doing hip hop since the 90s, since like 93. And yeah, that's my hip hop is like, I'm lyrical and I'm social political. Those are the things that I bring together because, when I was coming up in hip hop, a lot of people were just talking about, getting money and selling dope. And that wasn't actually what I was doing. So
Yeah.
my whole attitude was I need to talk about something that's a reflection of who I actually am, because at the end of the day, accountability to ourselves and our community and our audience is the most important thing in hip hop. And if we're not talking about who we actually are, then people are going to hold us accountable, and then we're not going to be respected.
Right, right. So let me ask you, what made you move out here to Portland?
My mom moved out here in '88.
Okay.
Her and my sister left. My little sister left Minnesota after mom divorced
Okay.
my stepdad, my sister's dad. So she came out to the West to start over. And I came to visit in 1990 and I liked it. I said, damn, there's the mountains, there's the ocean, there's the forest. And I loved all that. And where I come from, it's like buildings and, there's wild areas, but it's not near as beautiful as it is in the Northwest. I also had a street family out here so I had my immediate family, my mom and my sister. And then in the community, I had a family in the anti-racist skinhead scene. And so I went back to Minnesota for a few months and then relocated permanently in '92. And I needed a change. I was in my 20s. There's a lot of negativity in my life, a lot of violence, and I wanted something different.
Yeah. So let me ask you, who were some of your biggest influences growing up? And
Um,
how do they shape the sound of your music?
the first, I love Public Enemy and X Clan and BDP. I love
Yeah.
conscious hip hop. I love
Yeah.
gangster rap. I love the West Coast. I loved E Short, or excuse me, I said E Short. I love Too Short and NWA, and that was, I think, Too Short, NWA, and Volume 10 was the
Mhm.
first, like with Volume 10 being the most underground. That
Yeah.
was the first West Coast stuff I got turned on to back in the Midwest. But I was listening to that simultaneously, listening to all the conscious rap from the East Coast, Brand Nubian, X Clan. Um,
Yeah.
and then when I moved out to the West Coast, I got turned on to the bass stuff that was more underground and Too Short, like the Click, Me 40,
Mhm.
Mac Mall. But
Mm-hmm.
there was one artist that really just kind of hit me like nobody else before I moved out here, and that was Paris. Gorilla.
I know about Parrish.
Yep, that album, "The Devil Made Me Do It." I
Yeah.
was going through some changes at the time, and I was really kind of getting into my militancy. And I remember I had a job working for Parks and Rec, and I was broke, and so I would have to literally walk. Sometimes I didn't even have bus money to go to work, and I had to walk a few miles to work. And I had one of them big Walkmans that played tapes, and the
Yeah.
headphones with the orange soft phone. And I used to stop at every corner and do a set of 30 push-ups all the way, 3 miles each way, just bumping "The Devil Made Me Do It," that album by Paris. And so I feel like when I listen to some of my stuff today, I can hear Paris in
Oh
in my
yeah.
music.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Um, so can you share a story behind your journey into hip hop and how it shaped your identity of who
Yeah,
you are?
man. I grew up in the Midwest on the south side of Chicago. And then
Southside. Shout out
part of my
Southside.
childhood. Huh?
I said shout out Southside Chicago.
Oh yeah,
Folks out
Chi-Town,
there.
Southside. Um,
Yeah.
so part of my journey was moving from the south side of Chicago to smaller communities in
Mhm.
Illinois as my mom was trying to finish school. And we would go from all black areas to mostly white areas. And going back and forth all the time, I basically learned how to code switch. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but I would wind up talking differently when I was with the white kids, and then I come home to the hood and they make fun of me. They'd be like, "Oh, you talk like you're white." And back then we didn't have the internet, so in the white areas you couldn't really get a lot of black music on the radio.
Yeah.
And so I started listening to rock. So by the time I was a teenager, I kind of had a mixed orientation. I like certain things that white kids like, and then I like stuff that black kids like.
Yeah.
And I used to be ostracized for it, but maybe around my sophomore year in high school, I started to really embrace it and be like, I'm a different type of cat. And instead
Yeah.
of being embarrassed or ashamed about it, this is who I am. I started messing around in the punk scene. And so I would go to the record store and I would be buying hardcore punk albums,
Yeah.
um, Agnostic Front, Black Flag, and so forth, riding my skateboard. But then I would be going to see EPMD and Public Enemy and Schoolie D too, and it was all a part of who I am. And so
Yeah.
when you listen to my music, you're going to find that rock influence and that
Mhm.
kind of boom bap influence.
Yeah, the video that's playing behind me has a real nice rock influence to it. I was jamming out to it as I was making this the whole little background for this video. I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. I like this one.
Thank you.
Let me ask you another question. How has your activism influenced your music and vice versa?
Yeah. So when it came time for me to figure out what I wanted to talk about in my music, like I said, everybody was talking about selling dope, getting money, I'm gonna fuck your girl. And that wasn't really a reflection of my everyday life. But I had been in the streets fighting neo Nazis and organizing my community to defend itself against the threat of neo Nazis, white supremacists, the Ku Klux Klan, and so forth. And doing that work, some of the elders in my community kind of started to mentor me and put me in touch with social justice movement, politics, and history. And I started to learn that the activism I was engaged in as a kid on the streets was part of a continuum. And I started to see that the work that we were doing to fight these Nazis and protect our community was actually related to work that had been going on with the Black Panther Party for self-defense, the American
Yeah.
Indian movement, the Young Lords, and that as young people, we were just stepping into our time to engage in that work. So when I started rhyming and rocking stages and crowds, the political consciousness of the work I was engaged in the community started to show up in my bars.
Yeah. So when you got on the Portland scene, what was
Mhm.
it like when you got on the Portland scene with your MCing?
Well, at first people didn't know me, and it was that people weren't quick to just be like welcome me. You know, I had to earn
Yeah.
people's respect. And one of the ways that I earned people's respect was I went to a couple of battles at KBOO. And I did well. I didn't win I came in second in the first battle, and then I won the second battle hands down. And those are battles hosted by Cool Nuts back in the early 90s. And what I'll say about those, the reason I was able to win those battles was honestly because I went there not in a competitive spirit, but in a spirit of love. Like, I'm gonna have fun tonight.
Yeah.
We went down there like, let's go kick it, let's meet people, let's crack jokes and just clown. Because that was the thing. Like at that time when it was time to freestyle, mind you, because freestyle means different things to different people. When I say freestyle, I'm talking about coming off the top of the dome. And when it was time to freestyle, it was really about, let me talk shit about somebody, but let me have a sense of humor and let me have fun and make people laugh while I'm doing it. And that's what I feel like I was able to do.
So this music video that I got for you, the name of that song is called Ready, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Ready.
Can you tell me the story behind that song?
Yeah, man. It's DJ Trox. I heard the beat. I was going through a reel of his beats, and I grabbed a few because they were dope. They had a nice soulful feel with live instruments. And then I was listening to that, and the lyrics just kind of fell onto the page. What did I say in the first verse? His origin and his origin of being the Most High Supreme. So I was just thinking about as individuals, our connection to divinity. I've always been a spiritual person. I only recently accepted Islam. But all my life, I've known that there's something greater than what we can see. And it's behind and above and before and after everything. And so that's what I'm talking about, just feeling my connection to the divine. And the bars just flow from there. The brother who's featured in the video is a rapper by the name of Kilariti Masai. I've been going to Tanzania since 2014 as part of this project called the African Hip Hop Caravan, where we would tour different countries in Africa with African hip hop artists. So I met Kilariti as an extension of the African Hip Hop Caravan, and we've been working together. We're actually established a farm in Tanzania, and so we're working on these food security projects in East Africa. But he's a dope MC. And so we had him on the track, and then last summer when I was in Tanzania, we filmed half the video there in Tanzania, another half in Portland. And then we got Tony Hill singing the hook. She wrote the hook after listening to my verses. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Tony Hill.
Tony Hill and I have been working together like 30 years, so it's real family there.
Oh, sweet. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. We're gonna go ahead and show this video.
Okay.
Gonna go ahead and make that big real fast. All right. Let's go.
You are listening to my favorite DJ Rappy the Beat.
His aura it beams, a glorious gleam. Cosmic radiance, electrical torch. Stepping off the precipice, take flight. Excellence is effortless. Great heights inaccessible to snake bites. It's late night, the request is in my messages. To late pipe, but seldom do I find. Free time, so the pleasure is on mine. Meet time, the pressure and aggressiveness defines. Stress relief is requisite. Peace sign, the essence of a nebula embedded in my fibula. I feel it in my marrow, the way she feels a peril. My presence in particular is liquid in the narrow. Pathways plural, I stay thorough.
I stay ready with my mind state. Headed, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm
Hey, yo, I like this.
Thank you, brother.
I stay ready with my mind state. Headed, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm
For yourself and every time. With the challenge she never complain. You the warrior if you winning this game. A warrior, positive change. Never act too strange. Leading by courage, bring good energy. Maintain, don't be ashamed. Believe what you do every day's my day. Judge on the many powers on a control. My time. A war. Barakana zozona niko wezo wake. Judge. Akuwa mfano bora kwangu mina my people. Kilo mingi call me masa warrior. When you do good thing, life in akuwa simple. Ja, na.
I stay ready with my mind state. Heading, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm 45.
I stay thorough.
I stay ready with my mind state. Heading, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm 45.
Interpersonal conflict, sponsored as entertainment, manipulation of the ego for people's enslavement. It's all basic, but y'all chase it. Catching vapors, particulates, you can taste it. I'll make it articulate if I'ma say it. Major stations preventing it, let's make them play it. On stage spitting it, the crowd, I'll make them say it. Magnificent, omnipotence that I'm displaying. People blown to bits, fragments of bone, 'cause the drone put a hit on the signal from the phone that belonged to a user. They didn't like the user, political rapper or music producer. Our relation to the situation, every indication says that the state is an abuser. My independence alleviates confusion. You won't ever find me trying to recreate illusions.
I stay ready with my mind state. Heading, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm 45.
I stay thorough.
I stay ready with my mind state. Heading, no, you can't shake me 'cause I'm 45. Oh, I stay ready with my mind state. Heading, no, you can't shake me 'cause
You feeling it?
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you, I like that.
Thank you, brother.
That definitely gets a bomb. You definitely get a bomb dropped on that right there, man.
Thank you, fam.
Yo, this is clean. Hold on, I gotta go back and show those credits real quick because those people deserve they flowers. I gotta show those credits. Hold on, I just seen that you had credits at the end.
Yeah.
Hold on, pause it right there. Yep. We gonna get these people their credits because that was incredible. I'm not even gonna lie to you,
Hey, big appreciation, man.
bro. That was definitely incredible. These people need their flowers. All of these people need their flowers, man. Shout out to Trox for the beat too,
Yeah.
man. Because
Yep.
he went crazy on that.
Yeah, Trox is a beast, man. Yep.
Yo, he went crazy on that. So let me ask you. Ooh, that was a good video.
Thanks, fam.
that really that touched me. That was a good video. Let me ask you, what has been one of the most memorable moments of your career so far?
Man, there's been so many. Being able to tour in Cape Town, South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, Harare, Zimbabwe, Nairobi, Kenya, and Arusha, Tanzania. Being able to rock in Zanzibar, Tanzania, all of that is like, I sometimes I trip. I'm like, have I actually done that? Did those things actually happen? And they did more than once, man. They happened year after year for me. So like, I just feel incredibly blessed, you know.
You know, a lot of these rappers say my passport got stamps, but your passport really got stamps. You got stamps on stamps on stamps on stamps.
For real
That
though.
video is living proof, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope. I'm shocked by that. Let's see. Can you talk about your involvement with the African hip hop caravan And it's
Yeah, that's the project through which I was able to do all those things I just talked about. I met
yeah,
some African hip hop artists after I played the Shoko Music Festival in Harare, Zimbabwe
yeah,
in 2012. And I overheard them talking about a project that was going to go from the bottom of the continent all the way to the top and do a
yeah.
week in each city. And I was like, damn, how can I be down? And they were like, well, we actually know about your work, Comrade Mike. And they knew about my work because I had helped build a computer center in Burundi, Central Africa, after I visited Rwanda way back in 2004, the first time I ever went to Africa. And so one thing just kept leading to another. But the thing about it was community activism and hip hop together that made that happen. So it wasn't just about getting on stage and spitting bars. It was about helping people in the community. And that's the foundation of the work we do as cultural activists, meaning that we use hip hop culture as a means to not just big up ourselves and be professional artists, but also to uplift our community.
So let me ask you, how do you balance being an artist, activist, and a community leader?
It's a very full life, my brother. It's very full life. And some of these things don't pay a lot of money all the time either. So I'll be having to go get other hustles just to keep, the lights on. And it's
Yeah.
not easy, but it's motivated by a sense of purpose. And that's what keeps me, able to stay grounded.
Who is the most famous person that you've ever met? This is my personal question. I just want to know.
Okay, so let me think about this for a minute. Um, I was just chilling with the DLC, and he's an idol of mine. I got to
Oh,
meet, yeah, I got to meet because some good friends of mine are working with him on a
that's what's
documentary
up.
project. So I got to meet him. I met a lot of big hip hop acts. I met Prince
Yo,
very briefly in Minneapolis. Prince used to ride by the front of my house in Minneapolis because when I lived on 12th and Thomas in North Minneapolis, his dad actually stayed down the street. So one day, me and my mom were raking leaves, and we looked up, and Prince was riding by on his purple Honda with the
yeah.
white scarf on. We just like, Ma. I was like, Ma, did you see what I saw? But on a different level, I got to meet and work with Jill Stein because I supported her on her 2016 campaign.
Oh, that's
Um,
dope.
yeah, so I don't know. I met a handful of famous folks.
You've met a lot more than I have. I'll tell you that. So another question I wanted to ask you: if you could give any kind of advice to any kind of upcoming artist that's out there
Yeah,
right now, what
yeah.
kind of advice would you give them?
And this is one folks might have heard me say before if they see me on a couple other interviews, but I say dig deep and aim high. And when I say dig deep, I mean like really get to the root of who you are as a
Yeah,
human being and your most authentic self. Um, and ask questions of yourself, what is driving me, what is the reason I'm here, what do I want my legacy to be, what am I going to leave behind when I'm gone, and what makes me the happiest. And then when I say aim high, I really mean think about your wildest dreams, because I'm just a wannabe looking back at obstacles that used to be in front of me. I've consistently dreamed, accomplished, and exceeded my highest aspirations. And it's the proof is in the life that I've lived. And so that's a source of inspiration for me to be able to go, I'm doing things that I never knew. I've already gone past what my wildest dreams were.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you could do a song with any artist, dead or alive, who would you do a song with?
Wow.
I know it's a tough one.
That's a tough, it's easy to say Kendrick Lamar because he's so prominent right now.
Yeah,
And he's a lyricist. He has respect for the art of lyricism. So that would be dope. But I'm trying to think like that also feels a little bit generic because it's easy to say him because he's so on top right now. I'm trying to think of somebody that's a little, I would love to be able to do a song with Sha Rock.
oh, that would be dope.
That would be fire, bro.
That would definitely be dope.
Yeah.
And then, so you working on a project, right? So talk about the project. What's the project called?
Yeah, the project is me. It's an autobiographical album called Black Skinhead or Black Skinhead 2, because I already put out a single called Black Skinhead. And it just basically traces my development. And I'm also working with a band for the first time in many years. I used to be, my first experience as a hip hop artist for real was with a band called Hungry Mob. Well, we rocked Portland for many years in the Northwest. And so I'm getting a band together again called the True Originals. So the album will be out this spring, but in the interim, you can see us playing jams off the album live. And the next show I'm doing is going to be the Cool Nuts Holiday Jam at Alberta Street Pub. We'll be over there with the live band on December 21st.
Okay. I definitely got to make sure I pull up to that. So again, man, Mike, where can the people find you? Let them know where they can find you at online.
Thank you, brother. I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm not really messing with X too tough these days. So at Mic Crenshaw, at MICCRENSHAW. I spell Mike like short for microphone, just like Mike Capes or Mike Geronimo. At Mic Crenshaw, that's where I'm at. MicCrenshaw.com too.
Definitely. I want to thank you again for taking your time out of your day to do this interview with me, man. This has been a blast. I'm definitely gonna be putting your song ready on the station, if you don't mind.
Hey, thank you. And please, everybody listening and watching, follow me on YouTube. Do that.
Please follow him. Go follow him right now. Go like his video. Go share that shit. You on Spotify too? Run up in Spotify streams.
Yeah,
man.
All
them Apple streams, all of that. Audio Mac, all that shit. Run all that shit up. I want y'all to do that for me, for your boy right now. Man, hey, again, I appreciate you. I thank you again. Man, it's your boy Big Rap. Out this day.
Thank you, brother.